What's up everyone, I'm Tito and this is my channel. On here I like to share with you life's ups and downs, and as we know there are a lot of those in life. So this is pretty much documenting my journey. As I'm sure you all know that there's always something you can learn in life, and there's a lot of things that you can do. I also believe that there are seasons in life. I'm not necessarily talking about seasons like the winter, spring, summer, and fall, but I'm talking about like the seasons in life, or the transitions that you go through in life. I say transitions just because that mental picture seems more fluid than seasons to me when we're correlating it with life. I'm gonna try and break this down so that you can understand it kind of like how I'm thinking about it. So like with seasons, the environment changes. It gets cold, it gets hot, it gets rainy, whatever it is, and you have to adapt to that change or else you're not gonna survive. You have to wear the right clothes, you have to have the right living environment. So like with transitions in life, there's gonna be a change that happens in your life, always. Things are gonna change. Change is constant. Time moves forward and things change in time. So if you do not adapt to that change, you may not survive. So something that I've learned throughout life is that you have to try to be as prepared as you can be and do all that you can do, and then leave the rest to God. So with these transitions in life, you know that there are going to be changes that happen and throw you off balance, but if you have the right mindset and the right things in place, those transitions aren't as hard as they used to be in your life. So I guess kind of this update video of 2017 is about talking about my transitions and what I've used to deal with the different things that have happened in my life, because a lot has happened in 2017. I think for a lot of people, a lot happened last year. For me, a few of my transitions from last year were like moving to another state and getting residency in that state. I lost Doris, so van dwelling ended for me, at least temporarily. Moved into a house, I fell back in love, I got sick, I had to upgrade my online business game, and I also still traveled a lot. Now, if you would have told me I would have gone through all that stuff, plus a lot more that I didn't name off, back in January 2017, I wouldn't have believed it. It just would have been too overwhelming for me to even think about. And that's what happens with us, is we overwhelm ourselves with what can happen, or the fear of this, the fear of that, or just all the stuff that we have to get done. We overwhelm ourselves with all these big lofty goals and things like that and other stuff that we're going through, and it freezes us. It paralyzes us basically. We paralyze ourselves with the thoughts that go on in our head, and we overwhelm ourselves with what can happen or what could happen. So what I want to help you do, and what I'm going to talk about, what has helped me, is to take things in smaller steps. In my book, I talk about baby steps, building on baby steps. It's pretty much just the compound effect. If you haven't heard that before, it's basically like, it's that one brick after another brick to build the wall or to build the staircase. You know, you lay that foundation down, and you put another one on top, and you put another one on top, and it doesn't look like a staircase yet. But after you start adding a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and over time, you start to see the staircase form. And that's when you really see your vision come alive and your goals start to happen. But before that, you couldn't see it, but you have to just keep making those little steps towards it. You couldn't just lay down 3 steps at one time. You have to start with the base and start to build your way up. So that's pretty much the idea behind that. Just take it in baby steps and strides. Don't overwhelm yourself, because that's where you will paralyze yourself. The first time I found out about the compounding effect, or just that term in general, because I kind of knew that information before, when it really hit home with me was when I read the book, The Slight Edge, which is a really good book. So I highly suggest to read that. But yeah, that really, it just hit home with me, and it made me think about it more, and I can constantly think about that. I need to get that book again just to have it on the shelf, but I highly suggest reading that. It's getting a little bright in here. So something else that I did in 2017 on the topic of books is I read 1 book a month. Now, to be honest, I didn't read a book in December per se, but every other month I read a book for that month. And there were like 2 other months that I read short books, so I read another book on top of that. So those kind of count for my December, because I traveled a whole lot in December, and I did have a book for December, but it's pretty much like a reference book for essential oils and things like that. So it wasn't like a read-through type of a book. But other than that, I read a book every month. And although sometimes my book extended into the next month until I finished it, I still got it done. So I am proud about that, and I'm going to continue to do this. I want to continue to read 1 book a month, and eventually I'll get to read like 2 books a month, and as it goes on, I can read faster and faster, then I can read more, but that is my goal. And if you want to follow along with that, I do post my books on Instagram, and I will be posting on Patreon the book that I read in advance on there before anywhere else. So if you want to do this along with me, you can do that. The book that I'm reading right now is called Awaken the Giant Within. It's right here. It's by Tony Robbins. I've heard it was a really good book, so I've been wanting to read this for a while. This is the older version. I found it at a Goodwill when I was looking for books to sell online. But yeah, so far what I'm reading is really good. Let me read an excerpt for you. Okay, you can read along with me. Looking at this paragraph right here, I like this part right here that's in bold. He said that this is one belief that he has: it's God's delays are not God's denials. And as I was talking about a little while ago about like the seasons, this part really stuck out to me. That's why I wanted to read it. But he goes on to talk about the metaphor as far as seasons, the changes of seasons of life's ups and downs. It says, no season lasts forever, but all of life is a cycle of planting, reaping, resting, and renewal. Winter is not infinite. Even if you're having challenges today, you can never give up on the coming of spring. For some people, winter means hibernation. For others, it means bobsledding and downhill skiing. You can always just wait out the season, but why not make it into a time to remember? This is another page that I really like, this one right here. Repetition is the mother of skill. This part right here, a lot of people say knowledge is power, but it's actually applied knowledge. So information is power when it's acted upon. And then also on this side, 3 decisions that control your destiny are these. So this is really good. I'm really going to be looking into this more. And this quote right here is a really good one. So you can go ahead and read that. This fan is like right on my head. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but I want to let you know another good book that I read. I read this last year. Forgot what month I read it in. But I had a friend that I met working at Target when I was in Tucson, Jesus, really good guy. But he had sent me a video of this lady talking about being vulnerable, basically. And I was like, what the heck? I have that book. I have her book that she's talking about. And I've had it for a few years, and I was given it by a client of mine. When I was doing music videos and stuff, I used to film and produce music videos. But the guy gave me this as a gift, and I just had it for a while, and I tried to start it, but I couldn't do it. But after getting that video from Jesus, I went ahead and picked the book back up. So I read it. It was a little hard at first to get through, but then after starting to get through some of it, it has some really good information in there. It's by Bryn Brown, I think that's how you say her name. She actually lives in Houston, which is pretty cool. But really good book. Her research is in shame, and she said when she was researching shame, she found out that vulnerability is a big thing. We lack being vulnerable a lot, and that hinders us in a lot of areas. So I really want to focus on being more vulnerable this year. I think we lose a lot of the human connection through social media and things like that. Trying to look a certain way, and not just through social media, but just with our families, with relationships with certain people, or at our jobs and stuff. We don't want to look a certain way. We don't want to sound a certain way. We want to look stronger than we really are, and things like that. But what she's saying, and I think it has truth to it, is that when you have courage to be vulnerable, it affects other people, and they think that you're very courageous and stuff like that, but you're really just speaking the truth. And it's like everybody's going through things, everybody has things to deal with, but for some reason we try to hide it a lot. But anyway, basically the thing is, I just want to be a bit more vulnerable starting this year, to focus on that more, and a part of that is opening up more on social media, on YouTube, my YouTube channels, as well as Patreon. Just having more of that connection, instead of just putting out a video and maybe commenting here or there. Actually have a connection. Building relationships is more about the quality and not the quantity of our relationships. But yeah, I really want to focus on that, and I think it's important. I think that human connection is important. And although we are connected through technology, and technology is great to one degree, or to some degrees, we're lacking a lot of that human connection, and that genuineness, and that vulnerability, because again, we want to look a certain way, but we don't want to talk about everything. So yeah. So along with me being more, I guess, vulnerable, and being more connected, I'm going to talk about like the fact that I did what I call social media fast. I did social media fast last year a few times. I would take like a week off of social media, put my phone down, not mess with it, that type of a thing, and just to see like what would happen and the differences, and because a lot of people don't disconnect, and I've seen a big difference. I was definitely very productive. It was pretty cool to see how much I was able to get done. And it was just a bit more impactful than I thought. And so I think it's important to continuously do that. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm going to talk more about that. But with that comes that human connection more, because instead of just talking online, actually being in person and having these relationships and these conversations and things like that, those connections are deeper, I feel like. So yeah, just doing that social media fasting type of thing, just disconnecting, unplugging from things. And it just, like I said, it allowed me to be more productive. It allowed me to have more time to think and to do things. Something that I found that has helped me a lot get things done near the end of last year. I actually, and this is what I'm going to really talk about, starting out, I think, on my Patreon, something as far as productivity and goal setting and things, is setting a 12-week year. So I've been looking into that, and like my last 3 months of 2017, that was my 12-week year. And when I started, it kind of set it up just right to end the first weekend in January. So it set me up very well to go into 2018 with a good foundation. So I do want to talk about the 12-week year and how you implement that in your life to get things done. You can get a lot more than you think you can get done, and it helps you to not be so overwhelmed as well. So yeah, that's a really good thing that I found that helped me. And in that, and in the disconnecting, added to that, I set aside time to think. It's called think time, basically. You just set aside some time, like one day a week, where you disconnect from everything. You're not listening to anything. You're not intaking anything. Maybe you have a pencil or a pen and paper, but that's about it. And you just think. If you have a problem, you sit there and you think about this problem and how you can solve the problem, or what you need to do to get it done. You could jot that stuff down, and as you continue to sit there, more things will come to you. And just thinking really helps you to dive deep into whatever topic or situation or problem that is, and it helps you to come up with better solutions and different ideas and things like that. And that has definitely helped me a lot in certain areas. So I suggest you having some think time where you just separate. If it's like going to take a walk, and on your walk you're just thinking, that's great. You're getting a little exercise, a little fresh air, you're out in nature, that helps. It's all therapeutic, and you're also getting your thinking time in. But I do suggest writing things down. I always suggest writing things down. So those have definitely helped me, and I'm going to dive deeper into those in other videos. So yeah, these are all things that have helped me end out my 2017 and go into 2018 prepared and getting things done, basically. Yes, and I think that having laser focus has really helped. And when you have that focus, the 12-week year plan helps you to have that focus and to keep things into perspective. It basically helps you make your decisions, make smart and better decisions, because you're focused on your goal, you're focused on whatever your mission is. That's something that, a reason why people don't stay committed with their resolutions or their goals that they set at the beginning of the year or whenever, is because we lose that willpower, we lose whatever that fuel was that kept us going in the first place, because we lose focus and other things happen because life just happens to you. And then we're just down the road here and we think we can't come back because we already went off the road and things like that. So I've really been interested in how to stay committed to things, how to get things done in a long-term thing, not just in a month and then give up after the month, and then why should I even do it because I've already given up and it's going to continue to happen that way. Instead of having that mindset, really saying, how can I keep my focus? I think your why, like the reason why you're doing it, has to be a big one, and you also need to keep that reason why in front of you at all times. Not to overwhelm you, but as your vision board. That's why people have vision boards. That's why you can set the background on your phone, you can set the background on your computer, you can have a picture up in your house to continuously remind you why you're doing the things that you're doing. I think having that is very important to keep your focus. I'm going to talk more about that too later, keeping your focus and things like that, because I'm continuously learning about that. I really think that that's important. But one main thing, if you've seen on my sign upstairs, my felt board, hold the vision, basically. You have to hold your vision so you can stay focused on what you're doing, why you're here, what do you want to get out of life, basically. And that's how you get things done. When you go off and you forget why you're doing things, then it's harder to come back. and you got to get back on track and things like that. So it's better to keep yourself on track and keep those things around you. Like I said a moment ago, I know like plans change, life happens, things like that. I know like Dora, for instance, that happens, and it's really how you react to those situations that makes the difference. As far as Dora, so like I went to Dallas a couple months back, and I went to not only visit and meet my parents, but my brother was flying in to go to the Dallas Cowboys game, and so we surprised him. And so we were all hanging out and stuff like that, and then we got to cross something off my mom's bucket list, which is to go see T.D. Jakes, go to his church and things like that, which was a really good experience. If you're into that, I definitely suggest going. It was really nice. But he basically was talking about, one part that I got from it, I don't remember the scripture, but he was talking about how God will cut the branches. So there's a vine, and he's the source of the vine. And you have branches, you have things that have come from you, and they produce fruit. So God will cut those branches sometimes, and then, we can get resentful towards God, and we can be so focused on the fruit that comes from that branch that we forget about God, the source of the fruit, and things like that. And so, he'll cut it. But the thing is, when he cuts it, normally it's because, like when you prune a tree or plants or anything like that, it's to allow more nutrients and stuff to come through that cut part so that it can produce better and more fruit. So a lot of times when God cuts something off, we'll get resentful and things, but that was a dead branch probably, and it wasn't producing very good fruit, so it has to get cut off. But we're so resentful on the fact that it did get cut off that we don't see the bigger picture. We don't see the fact that it was to be able to produce a new branch that's going to bring more and better fruit. So that kind of had me thinking about a lot of the stuff that was going on in 2017 and like with Dora and everything like that. So, I think those are just things that are being cut out of my life, and just more and better and greater things are coming. I do believe that. So anyway, I just want to throw that in there. So I know some of you may be thinking like, oh yeah, that's nice. Like I know some of that stuff or whatever it is, but I'm going through a hard time right now, or I'm just not like feeling it right now. So I want to try and give you a few tips real quick on what I found to kind of help me during those rough times, or where it's hard to really get out of certain things. One small thing is, which again, we're making baby steps, we're changing little small things at a time, is to change your environment, whether that's getting out of the house and going to see a movie, or just getting out in nature, going and walking around a park. Go walk your neighborhood if you can. Just getting out of your normal environment, out of your normal routine, and clearing your head, breathing fresh air. As the seasons change, you can start planting things and seeing things grow. So that will help, just changing your environment, change up your room, change that feng shui or whatever. You can do that. Another thing, which I would suggest, because some people will say, oh yeah, think positive thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And I know how that can be hard, and it takes a while to get to the point of really wanting to think that, because of the level of where you're at in your thinking. But a small change that you can make is to write down something you're grateful for every day. So I was doing one thing a day, now I'm doing 3 things a day. But no matter how small, how big, just continuously do that. And over time, that's going to help you. It's going to help change your thinking and give you a better perspective. So that's a baby step that I can give you, a tip that I can give you right now that should help you. So yeah, just try and think about, the air that you're breathing, you could do it on your own. Being able to walk on your own, being able to see on your own, having a house, having the warmth while it's cold outside, those type of things. Just continuously, once you write it down, kind of meditate on it, think about it for a while. Think about what else correlates with that one thing that you're grateful for that is also something that you're grateful for. So if I say I'm grateful for videos, then I'm grateful also for the connection you can make through videos. I'm grateful for the internet. I'm grateful for having the resources to make a video and those type of things. So yeah, try to do that. Doing that's going to also help you look at the bigger picture, hopefully, and to be more thankful for the things that you have in your life, and know that it could be worse. It really could be worse. You're not somewhere in a third world country eating off the ground or anything like that. You're actually watching a video right now, and you have the ability to change certain things in your life. So just start thinking about that, and hopefully you're going to make some steps towards a better situation for yourself, for better thinking. Moving forward, I believe that 2018 is going to be a year of action for me. It's going to be about me living and walking in my truth, being who I am and expressing that in the way that I feel like I should express it, and also helping and giving back in ways that I haven't before, just leveling up on that. And if you are new, you probably should subscribe now because you don't want to miss out on the videos that I'm going to come with this year. And if you want more videos on like goal setting and productivity and things like that, then go down below into the description box and you're going to see the link to my Patreon. I'll be posting more information in depth of things that I've done in the past and things that I am doing now. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button, give me a thumbs up, and then comment below and tell me what is something that you learned last year. I'll see you in the next video, and shine on.